won't be able to talk too much about the Rangers game because, they'll be playing in a few minutes, a late night West Coast game against the Halos. And that'll be another series, as we've talked about in the past. This stretch coming up for them is going to be something to really watch to see what this team is made of.
I absolutely agree. I put it on Twitter. I've been looking at the schedule for a very long time because you look at what the schedule was before the trade deadline was going to happen, and the Rangers were in a tough, tough position. That schedule was going to be really tough. They ended that three-game series with Houston, three-game away series against Tampa. Of course, they went 1-5. They had a series against Chicago as well. The Atlanta Braves coming straight out of the All-Star break. They had a very tough end to July. Not just performance wise, but just scheduling no matter what. That was going to be a tough stretch for them. Unfortunately, again, they did not do as good as we expected them to do. But this is their time to pick up momentum again. It's pretty crazy to think about it. It feels like that season was just over after that Houston series. But Houston has faltered again. They're losing some games again. And the Rangers going on that four-game winning streak before Sunday's loss has helped them put them a half game back from Houston as of Monday night before their game against Los Angeles. And you look at that future schedule, four-game series against the Angels, another series against the Angels later in the month. You also have the A's. I believe what's the other team, Joe? Are we looking at it right now? The Nationals as well, who've been kind of hot recently, but they're still about that 500 record, nothing too serious. And then they finally have some good series again after those where they play the White Sox and the best team in the league right now, record wise and run differential wise, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, something else. One of those other, teams, small market teams are finding a way to work around, not having enough money here and there, and they've got some criticism for not just finding a way to, get Tarek Skubal recently, who is now an LA Dodger. My goodness, something about this Major League Baseball, but
Why do we
I
even
mean,
care
they
about
they
this?
they, they
Why
had
are
a
we even
chance.
talking the Rangers anyways? We all know what's going to happen in November anyways,
My goodness,
in
man. The
October.
teams, we might not have baseball next year. We've heard these, rumors here and there about this upcoming CBA and how they're not really finding anything close to an agreement. So we got to soak up the baseball while we can right now, while we can still watch our Texas Rangers. But, the last time the Rangers were in Anaheim, if you do remember earlier this year, they got
Didn't
swept.
go pretty. Yep.
It was embarrassing. The Halos brought out the broom. The Rangers lost 9-6, 5-2, and then 2-1. So, I want to think that this team will find a way to respond with a sweep of their own, but I could absolutely see the Halos, winning one or two of these games too. And I hope that does not happen. I really don't think it'll be a Rangers sweep. I still think they'll win the series. But you look at this Rangers team, the opportunity, it speaks for itself. I did not expect at all this A's team to fall like they've have in this last 2 months, to be honest. I knew they
I
were going to be a young team. I knew they didn't necessarily have the pitching. But I looked at that lineup last year and I thought, well, this team is well on their way. I've been calling it for years that they're gonna really get to that new level of A's baseball when they get to Vegas. Still in that last part of Sacramento A's baseball. So, I mean, this team has not won a series in what, 12 straight series now? And so after this A's series, this is a big opportunity for the Rangers to go against them as well. But this Rangers team, man, they have such a prime chance here, standing at a half a back as of Monday night, half back against Houston in the first place runnings of what is one of the most average AL West years I've ever seen.
Yeah, and before we get, let me take you a step back, Joe. Before we start talking mess about these Sacramento A's, they did just win two games in a series against Boston, the hottest team in
Fair
baseball
enough.
in the
Fair
last
enough.
month or two. Um, but yeah, they have been pretty bad. They've been pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, look, they're gonna have to get their bats rolling again. This is a big concern once again. The pitching has been pretty good recently. Of course, Nathan Eovaldi just got stuck on that 15 yard or 15 yard. I'm thinking about the Cowboys already. The 15-day IL with his elbow inflammation, I believe. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm glad that he can get some rest. Obviously, he had a great game against Baltimore. But before that, it's been pretty rocky. That game against Houston, of course, which we haven't been able to cover yet really with this podcast, was just horrid, terrible. Not what we expect from Nathan Eovaldi in a big series like that. And giving him some rest is not too bad. Jordan Montgomery came back, and he's
How
not,
cool was that?
he had his velocity needs some work, obviously. I believe when he was running in the playoffs with us 3 years ago, his fastball was like 94 miles per hour. What I was seeing on the radar on the Rangers broadcast, he was only throwing about 91 miles per hour. I don't know if this is just something that he's slowly working up back to. I know it was Tommy John surgery that he had, but if he can't get his velocity back, I don't expect him to be a player for this rotation, really, or be a dangerous part of it at least, like he was in 2023. So, what else do we have? We got Cody Bradford.
Oh
Hey,
man.
great start. Great start. He was able to get himself out of jams. He put himself in jams, but he was able to get out of it every time. So I am pretty happy about that. I think he'll be great. But yeah, going back to the batting, the pitching is hopefully going to find its groove with the players coming back. Nathan Eovaldi getting some rest, some recovery from this inflammation. But the bats, that's going to ultimately bring the Rangers into the playoffs. I believe, look, I think they only had, what was it, 5 hits in like the first 2 games against Baltimore. Not 5 hits, I'm sorry. What was it? It was really low.
Might have been 5 or 6, yeah.
I mean,
Low
they were
scoring
able to
game.
get some more.
Jock Peterson coming clutch, yeah.
Jock Peterson coming in clutch. Corey Seager saving the team in the eighth and on Saturday. Um, they've been able to be conveniently, they've conveniently scored. They conveniently hit home runs when they've needed to. But when they haven't had to, they haven't been doing any work. And of course, on Sunday, they weren't able to dig themselves out of the hole that Kumar Rocker put them in. So, I mean, I don't know. The Bats, they're going to have to make it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The Bats are going to have to be what turns around for this team for them to make the playoffs and for them to take advantage of the stretch.
Well, you were talking about how Ebaldi was, a little bit rocky, before, the injury and stuff here and there before that last start he had. But speaking of getting rocked, like you said, Kumar Rocker got rocked in the finale against the O's. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. Had another play where he just did not cover the base at first, which we've seen plenty of times before. Like, this is basic little league stuff of him not hurrying over to cover the bag at first base. Just more disappointing stuff right there from Kumar Rocker. And we've seen some flashes of that greatness here and there. And then you have games like this with the team who was hanging around there in that third wild card spot, like the Baltimore Orioles. I want to give some credit though to the Rangers based off those first 2 games against Baltimore, though, in that we've criticized them a lot here and there for not winning these close games in years past, but this year in one-run games, they have been the best team in baseball, believe it or not. And when they had, that one-run
Did
deficit
not
or
know
not
that.
one-run deficit, when
I
they
don't
were,
believe you, actually.
it's crazy. The RSN showed it too. It was 21-12 before Corey Seager hit that home run on Saturday to blow the game open. And I was just like, really? Because I honestly didn't even realize that. But when the team needs, a big shutdown effort from the late bullpen, like Jacob Latz, they find a way to hold on. And how about that relay, by the way, on Friday night to hold on at the very end of the game as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta give him credit. I mean, that was pretty fun, man. That was pretty fun. Those are ways to change the season right there. And I wish that they could have carried that on to the rest of the series. They were able to do it on Saturday, not on Sunday, but not too bad. And of course, it was Leody Taveras who got tagged out, which kind of made it was just a very interesting moment all around for sure. Ranger legend Leody Taveras.
Legend for sure. We cannot forget who was on base when Corey Seager tied the game.
The
Leo
most important
Taveras.
walk in Rangers history.
An important walk. He does not get the credit he deserves. He went out a little bit sad because his outfielding was a little bit lackluster, but we
Yeah.
won't we won't forget you, Leody. We won't forget you.
He robbed Jordan Alvarez in the ALCS. We won't forget that. The
Yep.
streets
We
will
won't
not
forget that
forget
at all.
Jordan
Yeah.
Alvarez getting robbed by Leody Taveras.
Yep. Rangers, like we talked about before, about to play the Halos the first half of this week, and then they're Also going to go to Sacramento to round out that West Coast road trip against the A's.